Have you ever loved so deeply that you felt yourself dissolve in the process? Have you ever been the patient, understanding woman, always standing by his side, only to face in their world just to fit into a space they never created. The unspoken message is clear: to be loved, be agreeable. Don't disrupt the flow. Over time, this creates a distorted version of the feminine spirit. A version that lives to please, smiles while her heart is breaking, and sacrifices herself in ways that are mistaken for gentleness. This is not true gentleness. It is fear disguised as care. Fear of being left, fear of not being enough, fear of being too much and upsetting someone. Imagine a woman like a candle. Everyone wants her close for her light and warmth. But once her flame is full, they snuff it out without a thought. The good woman burns quietly for others, never knowing if her light is enough for herself. And eventually, she burns out, not because she didn't love, but because she loved in a way that erased her own presence. Look back at the relationships you've had. How many times did you say it's okay when you were hurt? How many times did you deny your own needs to avoid being a bother? How often did you tell yourself, I shouldn't be too sensitive, while your heart was quietly screaming inside? That is not love. That is survival disguised as sacrifice. And society tells us that this is the ideal model of a woman. Movies, culture, stories. They celebrate the woman who forgives, waits, and understands endlessly. But in reality, this becomes a subtle form of control. If you are not gentle enough, patient enough, agreeable enough, you are deemed unworthy. Suppressing your true self has a cost. It fractures your soul. When your feminine essence is silenced and confined, it doesn't disappear. It sinks into the hidden corners of your being, where it can turn bitter, resentful, or exhausted from being unheard. You are not lacking love. You are loving from a self that isn't fully yours. One woman shared her story. She spent years as the perfect girlfriend, never jealous, never demanding, believing that unconditional understanding would keep him forever. But in the end, he left for someone new. When she asked why, his answer was simple. You're a good person. You deserve better. But I couldn't resist her. Love is not a reward for compliance. Men are drawn to women who have boundaries, a center, and a distinct identity. True allure comes not from being agreeable, but from being real, unapologetically yourself. To reclaim yourself, you don't become bitter or cold. You become a complete, honest woman who doesn't need anyone's approval to exist. Your inner feminine essence rises free, wild, and untamed. And a man with depth will not just take you seriously. He will fear losing you. Not because you threaten him, but because you have become someone who cannot be lost. Men don't respect compliance. They respect wholeness. And this is the silent tragedy of many women. In their effort to be loved, they choose to comply rather than be present, to please rather than shine. But here's what most people never tell you. Men are captivated by presence, by depth, by someone who embodies both light and shadow. They may exploit compliance, but they are drawn to wholeness. Men are wired to seek challenge and to feel that their love is earned, that it reflects true effort and value. A woman who is too easy, too soft, too available, no matter how much she loves, does not activate that sense of depth in them. Love becomes meaningful not because it is given, but because it is felt as weighty, intentional, and true. Attraction comes not from being predictable, but from being fully alive, fully yourself. And this is where women reclaim their power, not in pleasing, but in showing up fully, with boundaries, with authenticity, and with the courage to love without losing themselves. A woman who always goes along with everything slowly stops triggering an emotional response in a man's unconscious, because he no longer That's the kind of woman who balances love with boundaries, gentleness with strength, openness with the wisdom to close. You can love someone without echoing them. You can be beside them without disappearing into them. And that's what keeps him awake, intrigued, and unwilling to take you for granted. A whole woman creates a sense of irresistible allure. She doesn't depend on him. She can love deeply, but she can also walk away if it means losing herself. That uncertainty sparks a primal instinct in men to protect, to prove themselves, to strive. Without the fear of loss, there's no reason to cherish. Without clear separation, love becomes a dull habit. But when she is distinct, not easily swayed by promises or fleeting attention, every moment with her feels meaningful. And if he has enough courage, self-respect, and depth, he won't shy away from that challenge. He will grow because of your presence. But if he doesn't, your completeness will naturally filter him out of your life. Compliance brings convenience, but wholeness earns respect. And in love, respect is the only thing worth holding onto. If what you're hearing resonates, mark it for yourself. Hitlek is a way of saying, I'm ready to let go of convenience and step into being respected. And if you want to keep exploring your essence, feminine power, and true presence, subscribe and turn on notifications. This isn't just a video. It's a space to reconnect with who you really are. So, How do you step fully into that whole woman energy, the one who doesn't beg for attention, but makes men choose to stay? How do you make sure every move, every feeling radiates a presence that he can't ignore or take for granted? You need tools. These are not just for capturing a man's heart, they are for reclaiming your own, where true allure begins. It's time to stop waiting and start creating. The first step: stop being the good woman. Here's a truth you might not want to hear, but need the good woman. You've spent years trying to be isn't loved more. She's just easier to take advantage of. She's shaped by society, by expectations, and by the subtle punishments for showing your real feelings. That woman is not your true self. She's a mask worn for survival, not for living. To become a woman men truly value and fear losing, it's not about giving more, doing more, or sacrificing more. It's about stopping. Stop complying. Stop thinking you have to be perfect to be kept. Stop being the good woman. Start being honest. When you live too long behind that mask, you disconnect from your core. That disconnect drains your energy and makes you invisible to men. Deep down, men are drawn to what is real, what carries its own energy. Energy can't flow through a template. It needs authenticity. Imagine your soul as a garden. The good woman trims every thorn, hides every shadow, cleans up every messy corner. That garden looks nice but feels lifeless. The honest woman keeps wild bushes, lets the wind roar through storm, and shows traces of old scars. Her garden is alive, real, and irresistibly magnetic. The practice isn't about rebellion or drama. It's a quiet but powerful check before saying yes to something that shrinks you. Am I agreeing out of love or fear? Soon, you'll notice how often your yes comes from fear, not from genuine care. A yes born from fear creates no connection. It only gives the other person power. Try pausing before you respond. When someone asks something of you, don't answer right away. Say, let me think about it. That pause is where you reclaim yourself. Ask, do I want this? If not, decline gently but firmly. Truth doesn't need anger to carry weight. Practice panicking as you start living authentically. And when you begin living this way, every cell in your body sends out a quiet, invisible message, I am valuable. If you don't recognize that, I'll step away. At that moment, men start seeing you differently. No longer with casual familiarity, but with the fear of losing something real, rare, irreplaceable, is master your emotions. Once you start shedding the good woman mask, Daring to stop nodding and start living authentically, something rises inside you. Raw, unfiltered emotions untouched by comforting hands. It could be anger suppressed for years, sadness you never admitted, or joy held back for fear of envy or abandonment. Here you stand at a crossroads. Either you keep suppressing these emotions, or you learn to master them like a queen on her throne, not by controlling, but by recognizing and honoring them. Many women think they are gentle, but then explode unexpectedly. Think they are soft, but become fiercely jealous. Think they love sincerely, but fall into dependency. Not because they are weak, but because they were never taught to sit with their emotions as a friend, only to hide or justify them to suit someone else. Emotions are energy moving through the body. Anger, sadness, hurt, joy, all flowing through your nerves. Like a river, if you try to block them, they will find a weak point to break through. In relationships, mastering emotions isn't about suppressing or feeling nothing, but knowing exactly what you feel and standing firm within it, neither swept away nor drowned. Picture your emotions as waves. A woman disconnected from herself either gets carried away, losing all calm, or tries to suppress it entirely. But a woman who masters her emotions stands on the shore, facing the crashing waves without fear or indulgence. She knows she is angry, sad, or hurt. She allows these feelings to exist, not as a weapon to change others, but as a life force to be acknowledged. How do you practice this? Start small, but intentionally. Name your emotions as they arise. Not vaguely like, I feel bad, or I'm not okay, but specifically, I feel abandoned. I feel disrespected. I feel ashamed. Naming your emotion calms your brain's response. You stop being the emotion and become its conscious observer. Next, treat the emotion as a message instead of reacting. If you feel abandoned because he hasn't replied to your texts, pause and ask, is this feeling really about him, or is it touching an old wound? When you separate the other person from your inner emotion, you reclaim control. No more automatic reactions, only conscious responses. Keep an emotion journal with 3 parts: situation, emotion, and need. For example, situation, he canceled plans last minute. Emotion, disappointment, hurt. Need, to feel valued, prioritized. When you understand the need beneath the emotion, you stop saying vague things like, you don't love me anymore, and can say, what hurts me is feeling unprioritized. I need to know if I am still important to you. This isn't weakness. It's the language of a woman emotionally mature. Another powerful practice is active silence. Instead of reacting immediately, step away, not to avoid, but to create space for yourself. Take a walk, breathe deeply 3 times, or simply say, I need 10 minutes to connect with myself. This is the ultimate act of inner authority. Someone who can hold their emotions doesn't need to unload them onto others. Why does this make men take you seriously and fear losing you? Because a woman who handles her own emotions cannot be manipulated. She doesn't need others to feel complete. That very quality makes them feel honored when chosen to be by her side. She doesn't project insecurities or rely on them to define her happiness. And that evokes rare respect. A respect for someone who cannot be controlled yet is deeply magnetic. or fear of being selfish. First, distinguish between boundaries and demands. A demand says, "You must change for me." A boundary says, "I will step back if this continues because I respect my emotions and energy." Demands try to control other people. Boundaries only control how you allow others to affect your life. Here's a practical exercise. Write down 3 things that consistently bother or hurt you in a relationship. For example, ignored texts, curt replies, or last-minute cancellations. Next to each, don't just write, "I don't like it." Be specific about what part of you is being violated. Is it respect, feeling valued, a sense of stability? When you understand what you're protecting, you'll set boundaries not out of anger, but from a clear sense of self-worth. Then, declare your boundaries through action, not pleading words. Boundaries are not tearful conversations. They are calm, deliberate actions. For instance, if he sends vague messages and disappears for days, instead of scolding, step back and stop investing your emotions in an unclear connection. You don't carry the burden further. You don't have to get angry. You simply withdraw your presence. And when you step back, he begins to understand how meaningful your presence truly is. A strong boundary is refusing to repeat old discussions. Don't keep explaining if what you need is clear action. Say, "I've shared what bothers me once. If it continues, I won't continue this relationship." This isn't a tactic, it's inner maturity. A decent man will feel the weight of these words because they come from your core, not from a script. What does a man feel when faced with a woman with solid boundaries? He is instinctively challenged. He asks himself, "Am I substantial enough to enter her world?" That's the only question you should care about if you want a man who is serious and willing to invest. A serious man doesn't look for an easy woman. He seeks a space with rules, respect, and a clearly guarded gate. A weak man feels threatened by this, but a true man steps in with respect. Always remember, boundaries don't cost love. They filter out love that doesn't belong. You don't need to constantly prove your worth. Simply live, act, and make decisions as if you believe it, and the world, including the man across from you, will start to believe it too. Next, activate the fear of loss by being fully present with yourself. Once you establish boundaries, a subtle transformation begins. You stop chasing connection and become the center of it. From that calm place, a new kind of attraction emerges. You are fully present with yourself. When you stop chasing fulfillment outside, you emit a quiet, undeniable energy. The energy of someone so connected to themselves that they no longer need anyone to validate their existence. Imagine yourself as a planet in orbit. When you revolve around someone else, you adjust your light, speed, and even temperature to match theirs. But when you return to your center, you shine in your own way, at your own pace. That self-sustaining fullness naturally draws him to adjust his orbit toward yours.